What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're discussing the top products according to their performance, budget, value, and more. Check out the description for the latest prices and information. MSI Gaming GeForce GTX 1660. This is built to a cost, and NVIDIA has made sure it has ample headroom to cut costs further in the future if AMD comes out with competitive products in this segment, such as the fabled Navi. It is carved out of the same 12nm TU-116 silicon as the GTX 1660 Ti with fewer CUDA cores and slower 8 Gbps GDDR5 memory replacing 12 Gbps GDDR6. NVIDIA is looking to offer a product that's incrementally faster than the GTX 1060 6GB and anything AMD has to offer in this segment, which can still deliver full HD gameplay with maximum quality. The silicon is derived from the Turing architecture by removing RT and tensor cores, leaving just the CUDA cores with the same IPC and clock speed uplifts as any other RTX 20 series card. The target audience for this is that colossal mass of gamers into online multiplayer esport titles and just in need of a card that can keep them ticking at full HD, perhaps even at high refresh rates. NVIDIA carved this out of the TU-116 silicon by disabling 2 out of 24 streaming multiprocessors, resulting in the CUDA core count of 1408 and 88 TMUs, which is still higher than what the Pascal-based GTX 1060 6GB packs. The rendering and memory subsystem is practically carried over with the 48 ROPs and a 192-bit GDDR5 memory bus driving 6 GB of memory. XFX Speedster SWFT210. Looking at current generation GPUs, the Radeon RX 6600 key competitor is the GeForce RTX 3060. Each has its own strength. Between the two, the 6600 wins overall regarding power draw. The 210 card we have in hand is one of a host of third-party design based on AMD Radeon 6600 GPU. Like other 6000 series GPUs, the 6600 is built on its company's RDNA 2 architecture and features TSMC's 7nm lithography on a 237mm Navi 23 XT die. The 6600 sports a boost clock a little less than 100 MHz, below the 6600 XTs and slightly fewer active streaming processor. But other than that, the two cards share specs up and down the line. The breadth of available GPUs in this price tier is simultaneously becoming broader yet more granular than ever. As a 1080p engine that can also dip its toes comfortably into powering many AAA and multiplayer games at 1440p, the 210 is a respectable outing that shows weakness with older games, like other recent AMD Radeon efforts. The 132W AMD Radeon 6600 regularly trades off wins and losses with the 170W NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060, depending on the title and resolution. Given the matching MSRPs, the main feature selling point for the NVIDIA GPU are its tensor cores and growing library of DLSS exclusive games. Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4070 Ti. This is originally what would have been the GeForce's RTX 4080 12GB before NVIDIA had decided to cancel it and rebrand it into the RTX 4070 Ti in wakes of fierce criticism from gamers and the media regarding the name. NVIDIA originally announced the RTX 4080 12GB alongside the RTX 4080 16GB, and memory size was hardly the only differentiators between them. The 12GB variant has 21% fewer shaders RT cores, tensor cores, besides the lower memory sizes. It also has a 25% narrower 192-bit memory interface, which was the heart of the controversy. The 4070 Gaming OC features a similar design to the company's 4080 Gaming OC card, but the WindForce 3 times cooler being slimmer at 2.7 slots compared to 3.5 slots. The cooler still has some premium touches, such as a two-tone metal finish and some RGB lighting elements around the fan, intakes, and top of the card. You get a small factory to overclock out of the box, with the GPU boost set to 2060-40 MHz. With the GPU boost set to 2640 MHz compared to the 2610 MHz reference. NVIDIA is standardizing the 16-pin ATX 12 VHP-WR connector across the series. This SKU gets one signal pin keyed to 300 watts. PowerColor AMD Radeon RX6900 XT. AMD has yet to follow suit after NVIDIA and made its new GPU very big. The 7900 is a lot smaller comparing to the 4080 model, measuring 287mm in length and with a conventional 2-slot design. Its card can fit comfortably in most standard ATX scale PC cases, and also third-party models from other manufacturers will stick to the sizing. It's comparable to any NVIDIA's RTX 3000 card in their size, which feels like a breath of fresh air compared to the comically huge RTX 4090. It is also a generally good-looking GPU with a straightforward reference design that looks much better than previous designs from AMD, which looked blocky and old-fashioned. This chipset architecture was originally seen as AMD's own Ryzen's an EPYC processor and proved very successful. It's easy to understand why Team Red also opted to pursue the same technologies in its GPU design. Similarly, the XT and XTX cards use cheaper GDDR6 memory rather than the GDDR6X VRAM found in NVIDIA's new RTX GPUs. The memory chips, plus additional cache memory, allow AMD to effectively skip over NVIDIA and achieve more memory bandwidth for less money, another clear win. The 7900 XT is a solid GPU, AMD's, that offers excellent gaming performance and massive improvements across the board over AMD's previous generation. However, creative performance is lacking and is somewhat difficult to justify its existence when the more powerful XTX version is only $100 more expensive. ASRock VCX RX6800. This is based on AMD's RDNA 2 graphics architecture, which is conveniently the same graphics text behind both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. AMD has finally abandoned their blower that plagued the reference design of the RX 5700 XT and 5700, opting for a beefy triple fan shroud design instead. This is way more efficient at keeping the graphics card cool and much quieter under load. We have 2 display ports, one HDMI 2.1 and one USB-C for output. This covers every type of display output you could need in 2020. It props AMD for not cutting out the USB-C like NVIDIA inexplicably did with the Ampere card. For powers, you have 2 8-pin connectors, which is good news for anyone that has lamented Team Green's move to a 12-pin connector with an adapter. The RX 6800 is around 27% faster in Far Cry 5 and about 25% faster in Assassin's Creed Odysseys. Of course, these gamers are optimized for AMD hardware, but the numbers are still impressive. The RX 6800 marks the AMD's return to the high-end graphic card market, delivering 4K gaming performance on par with the RTX 3070 model. However, the lack of feature, especially those around the upscaling, means the ray tracing is a wash in 4K. Intel Arc A770 Limited Edition. Intel is now in the game of making graphics cards. The best GPU from Intel right now is this one, which isn't limited in availability, but is what Intel refers to as Founders Edition cards. It's still quite the capable machine for 1440p gaming. However, you'll find 32 Xe cores, 8 render slices, 32 ray tracing units, and 512XMX engines inside the GPU. This basically means it's good for 1080p and 1440p gaming. With ray tracing enabled in games, this can perform well enough to take on some NVIDIA's older RTX GPUs. For creative work, it is well equipped. It has support for HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 2.0 external displays and was one of the first desktop graphics card to have a hardware AV1 encoder. Uses of AV1 are still limited for the time being, but the new codec will be widely adopted in the future, and Intel is providing an affordable way to get in on it. Even though it's a reference design, this runs quietly, even with a fairly high power draw at 225 watts. Out of the box, it'll be set to 190 watts, and increasing the power limit alongside some simple performance tweaks can unlock a little extra performance. However, Intel didn't overpromise. It performs about as well as NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. And while being affordable, it's incredibly affordable when compared to the latest AMD and NVIDIA graphics card. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to hear more from us, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of our new videos.